But I feel like this has to be some kind of hyperbole or something, because I just can't imagine Nina Turner going MAGA. But this guy is saying, after being rejected by black and Jewish voters in Ohio twice, Nina Turner has gone full MAGA. So I don't know. Let's see what that's all about.
And then just one more point. Yeah. For the neoliberals who say that the residents of that area deserve what they are getting because they voted for President Donald J. Trump, it is abhorrent. This is about poverty. This is about poor, working class white people who are enduring some of the same things that poor, working class black people endure, whether it's Flint, Cleveland, or Jackson, Mississippi. And so I want to lay it out. The cultist behavior in politics right now, it is a sin and a shame that when people are suffering to this magnitude, you got people who will fix their mouths, to quote my grandmother, to say that they are getting what they deserve. What they deserve is clean air, clean food, clean water. They deserve relief, both in the short term and also in the long term. And then just one.
Oh, that was, wait, that was Nina Turner? Are you sure that wasn't Trump himself? What was that? Saying that poor people need food? What the? Oh, no. Wait, so because she in a clip said that the people in it's Palestine, right? It's not pronounced Palestine. It's Palestine or something like that. Anyway, the people who live there deserve to be taken care of. And, like, people shouldn't be like, well, they voted for Trump, so they have it coming. That doesn't make her MAGA. By the way, consider me firmly in the camp of people who I'm not a neoliberal, but I will say that. You vote for a politician like Trump, you kind of do. Got it coming. But then again, it's not like Biden's been any different, so I guess you got it coming no matter which of the two major parties you vote for at the end of the day. I guess we all have it coming by even allowing this horrible, nightmarish world to continue like this, when I feel like, yeah, humanity, we could do better than this. That's the real tragedy here. Humanity could do better than what we've done. We just, for some reason, choose not to. Or I guess we tell ourselves the lie that it's impossible. No way, this is the best we could do. I don't think it is, but I don't feel like that was a MAGA talking point. Kind of weird. Oh, there's a whole thread down here, too. I told you so. CNN guest snaps on air over Democrats ignoring suffering of Americans in East Palestine because they voted for Trump. Admits quiet part out loud. Okay. So because this guy retweeted her, I guess this dude is like probably some kind of conservative who's like, this fits with our narrative, kind of. So basically, any talking point that you make, no matter how true, if a right-winger latches onto it, you are now a MAGA chud from now until the end of time. Nina Turner's animosity towards the Democratic Party is alarming. Is it? The Democratic Party sucks. So, okay, so that's what's going on here. This guy, Greg, and I should have known he was a piece of shit when I saw his name was Greg. Because really, there's no decent human being named Greg. The only name worse than Greg is Craig, which is like the downgraded evolution of Greg. Basically, Craig evolves up into Greg, but it's like evolving into a turd. You know what I mean? Or a turd evolving into shit. So, this guy's some kind of weird Democratic Party loyalist. Which, by the way, I can't even believe those are still a thing. Like, why? Who's just mad that Nina Turner won't toe the establishment Democrat line. Like, this dude's got to be some kind of shill or a bot or just like a total dip, right? By the way, I'm sorry if your name is Greg or Craig, okay? I'm not sorry to you. I'm sorry for you. I pity you is what I'm saying. Change your name. You know, if you are unfortunate enough to have parents so stupid that they decided to name you Craig or Greg, just change the name. It's available to you. When the judge asks why you want to change your name, just say, I hate my name. They name me Greg. I mean, literally, I used to use the word Craig to reprimand my dog Salvador when he did something bad. I'd be like, no, Sal, that's bad. That's Craig. That's Craig.
And at a dinner for the Ohio Democratic Party, President Clinton said everybody else's name but mine.
How dare he did you like Sylvester Stallone did Ryan Coogler?
This is the exclusive, because I've never told this story publicly. We made no demands of the president. And the symbol of President Obama is a beautiful thing, but what did that get us collectively? The fix was...
So basically, this guy is like, making cogent criticisms of the Democratic Party is a no-no. Like, she didn't... Wait, Green Party spoiler, Jill Stein is enthusiastic. Oh, wait. So you're mad at her now because she supported Jill Stein in 2016 and that helped elect Donald Trump president? I hate these people who just act like you're not allowed to vote third party. You're not allowed to not vote. You're not allowed to vote third party. You're not allowed to vote Republican, of course. The only action you are allowed to engage in is blind support for the Democratic Party. And anything short of that is just like, you're just like tantamount to treason. You basically, like, any vote for anybody other than whoever the Democratic Party puts up is a vote for the Republican, no matter how regressive they are. Now, look, I do believe there are many instances where you do have to plug your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils, quote unquote. But, like, honestly, lately, it's kind of hard to even pick out a lesser of two evils. But if it comes down to it, if you got one politician that's like, kill all the and you got another one that's like, I don't think we should do that. Okay, I guess I know who I'm voting for, but like, I'm not going to be enthusiastic about some corporate shill just because he stands or she stands on the opposite end of like some dumb culture war divide that really only exists to make it seem like there's a significant difference between these two parties. Because the only they really profoundly disagree on is culture war that doesn't actually affect the bottom line of the ruling class, strangely enough. Because you know what? A billionaire can be a billionaire whether trans people have rights or they're being marched into camps. Doesn't affect Jeff Bezos's money. Doesn't affect Warren Buffett's money. But when it comes to like things that could actually, like the policies of Bernie Sanders, even someone who's just moderately left like Bernie Sanders that would actually take a bite out of the fortunes of these, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, now, wait a minute. This is communism, right? This is insane. But somehow the crazy, frothing at the mouth, anti-trans, anti-gay politician, that's not too crazy for American politics. But raising taxes on the wealthy, holy, you're a lunatic. You're obviously some kind of madman. Jill Stein was associated with, oh my God, all these people. Oh yeah. After Trump was elected, he did this. I am continuing to get rid of costly and unnecessary regulations. Much work left to do, but effect will be great. Business and jobs will grow. It says Trump rolls back train braking rule meant to keep oil tankers from exploding near communities. Right. So yeah, you know what? Trump did do that, and you can rightly blame Trump for that, but you also have to take note of the fact that it's not like Biden or the Democrats in Congress, reversed that at any point and said like, hey, let's bring that back. They never did that. And let's not act like Biden didn't squash the labor movement of rail workers who were trying to get better treatment, lesser hours, better compensation, better benefits. Like, I don't know if them getting their demands would have contributed to something like this not happening. But it seems to me that a bunch of like happy, content, well-fed, well-paid employees probably do a better job than a bunch of disgruntled people who are like, we're not happy at all. So like, I feel like, while I do think it's fair to say the majority of the blame is on Trump, I don't think it's fair to let the Democrats completely off the hook on this one either. Here is Nina Turner agreeing with Killer Mike after he called civil rights leader Congressman James Clyburn stupid. Well, I don't know who James Clyburn, I kind of know who James Clyburn is. I don't know if he's stupid or not, but I know that Killer Mike is usually pretty on point on this shit, so yeah. Every time I've ever heard Killer Mike talk, I've usually agreed with what he had to say, so if a motherfucker says James Clyburn is stupid, I'm gonna go along with it. Can we talk about Nina Turner being an anti-Semite because she's against AIPAC? Yeah, okay, I hate to tell you this, but Israel is a fucked up place. that has basically an apartheid state. Even Jewish friends of mine who are pro-Israel will admit that there are serious social problems in Israel. And like, I have a Jewish friend that lives in New York that will pretty much fess up that Israel's an apartheid state, even though at the time she said that, she was working for a pro-Israeli charity group. So, and you know, had been to Israel. But even that person could say to themselves, like, hey, just because I have some ties to Israel, just because I'm pro-Israel, doesn't mean I have to accept everything Israel does. And AIPAC is, a 100% pro-Israel lobby that controls tons of American politicians, including Lauren Boebert. I'm not saying that they're the only foreign country that has its interest ensnared in American interests. Obviously, Saudi Arabia is another one that has huge influence in the U.S. China, for the longest time, did. Obviously, that relationship's a little bit on the rocks, but for a long time, Chinese interests and American interests intersected in a lot of big ways, especially Chinese business interests and American business interests. Now you're starting to see that relationship get a little more rocky, but yeah. Even the black clergy from Ohio spoke out against Nina Turner. So wait, so let's hear what's going on here. Okay, I guess let's not, because it won't play, but still. The only Israelis I've heard speak on this subject are against the apartheid in Israel. Right. I think most people who look honestly at what's going on in Israel have to admit that it's pretty f***ed up. Even people who are pro-Israel have to admit that it's pretty f***ed up. And people who are not willing to admit that, I think are, I don't know, like they're either just willfully evil and they just don't care about human rights whatsoever, or they have embraced some frame of reasoning that holds to Jewish supremacy, or there's some kind of radical Christian sect that thinks that the Jews have to be in control of Israel in order to bring about the end times, or they're just flat out sociopathic, or they're just straight up like total Islamophobic. And I say that as someone who's perfectly willing to criticize Islam ideologically. But certainly there are people whose criticisms of Islam go beyond the ideological and go to the racial. And I hate how a lot of these people, and then the same thing happens. You criticize Israel, you're labeled an anti-Semite. Let's be clear here. I don't have any problem with Jewish people. I have a problem with the state of Israel. Let's be clear here. I don't have a problem with Middle Eastern or Arabic people. I have a problem with Islam. Just like I have a problem with Christianity, just like I have a problem with any religious institution, any sort of supernatural mumbo jumbo dogma bullshit that thinks it can control your destiny because it's got the inside, track on what God wants. I'm against all of that. But constantly, criticism for Israel is lumped in with racist hatred of, Middle Eastern, Arabic, or, other racial groups that are tethered to Islam. And that constantly criticism of Israel is likened to anti-Semitism or hatred of Jewish people or belief in some sort of Jewish conspiracy. And that's stupid. Can we please stop that? And Nina Turner is not a MAGA supporter, all right? I do think that I'll criticize to some extent. I think that when you look at people who vote for Trump and then Trump deregulates trains, deregulates the very regulations that are designed to prevent something like what happened in East Palestine from happening, and then it happens there, and then he shows up and they're all like, yay, Trump, woo, you're so great. Yeah, I gotta kind of say to myself, these people are kind of being stupid, because this is the guy that's probably the most principally responsible for what you're going through right now, and here you are sucking his so yeah, I can see that point, and I don't think you have to be a neo-lib to make that point, but I also see her point, that it's like you can't write those people off just because they're stupid. They still deserve like the same basic amenities and respects that any other group of people in America deserve. Like, just like the people of Flint deserve but don't have clean drinking water, the people of East Palestine should not be subject to horrible chemicals. And if that does happen, they should be, you know, treated medically, and they should be evacuated and shown a cleaner, safer place to live, all on the government dime. That's something that should happen. And I don't care if they supported Trump. Like, maybe, you know, as you take them from that horrible place and you put them up somewhere else that's cleaner and better, and you take care of their medical treatments, maybe somewhere in all of that you mention to them, hey, you know, the reason this happened is because that big orange imbecile, all right? Just so you know, this is mostly his fault. Maybe you just let them know. Maybe they'll have a little bit of doubt the next time they see one of these Republican assholes. But instead, we want to have the politics of absolute vindictiveness, where it's like, nope, you voted for Trump, so you're on your own. But really, it's just an excuse, because whether you vote Democrat or Republican, you're always on your own in this country if something goes wrong. You know? Ask it to the people of Flint, Michigan, or Jackson, Mississippi. They're on their own, and those are mostly Democratic voting areas. So, you know, what's the excuse for not helping those people out? Anyway, ridiculous bullshit. What are you going to do? Ridiculous.